Men have actually gone that far when their women stop being attractive to them. Is that you need to understand that attractiveness is not just a physical thing. So there's a spiritual side to attractiveness. Somebody who you like talking to a lot, you'll be attracted to the person. You're my ride or die, right? There are many things you've been
It's
through.
ride or leave in Jesus'
Ride or
mighty
leave
name.
in Jesus' name. But guess what? The first time we had a video call, whatever attraction I had just went from like 100 to 0.
Now, this might sound funny, but I'm being sincere. You don't really understand how ugly you are until you are out of it and you look back at pictures.
Haven't you noticed that some women are so beautiful, but their men are sleeping with house helps that are smelling? You look more beautiful.
Line I know.
So that's an example. In fact, the man will just say, after all, even if she doesn't know how to speak English, but she's good in bed, I can give her perfume. If she's smelling, she's going to look nice. Yeah. Now, I'm just being real, all right? It's point blank with the ADEYEMI-LEVITES, so I'm being real. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So,
Due to popular demand,
due to popular demand, we had to break it into two because obviously the last conversation was actually really getting long and it won't fit into one podcast session, so we had to break it into two. So we're actually talking about managing changes that happen during the time of post-delivery marriage and how to handle it. So maybe I should start first this time to talk about the man in the relationship and how the changes can be managed better. So I'll still go science and scriptures. The scripture we quoted the last time talks about knowledge. True knowledge, your rooms shall be filled with pleasant things, right? True wisdom is your house built. True understanding, it is established. To build a home, you have to have wisdom, knowledge of things that can actually go wrong and how you can manage it. Then apart from that, there's another scripture that says, true knowledge shall the just be delivered. There are many things people suffer in marriage because of ignorance, because they don't know. And like one of my co-founders told me some time ago, he said, you can have very good intentions, but you can have unintended consequences of such intentions. Good intentions, your mind is very pure, you don't have any ill will towards your spouse, but your actions are actually going to breed unintended consequences. So there are certain things that once you start doing in your marriage, your wife might start building resentment because the changes are happening so fast. She's even trying to grapple with that reality. And then your actions are now speaking loud to her that you don't really care, or you don't even know how to manage it. And she's screaming so loud and you can't hear because you are thinking more about yourself in the relationship. Let's start with physical changes. When a woman that you saw very sexy, figure 8, looking beautiful when you met her, checked her, toasted her, everything is fine, her breasts are pointing, everything was beautiful, and then she got pregnant, her breast got bigger, and then you can't touch the breast, you can't touch the nipple, you can't suck anymore, you can't.
The size has passed your hand.
Even size, if it's that one. No matter the size, the man will still find a way to carry now.
No, but there's a difference in the size of your hand, fitting your hand.
Of which some men don't even like it to be.
And it's not fitting your hand again.
Yeah, some men don't even like it too big. So all those changes happening, it can create a kind of lacuna between yourself and your spouse if you don't intentionally work towards managing that situation and getting help. So for instance, for our physical changes, I've talked about in the first session on your financial, emotional changes that have to happen, right? But beyond that, you also have to understand that a woman's body will go through normal changes in marriage. The pecky standing breast you saw might not be pecky and standing for a long time. It might actually change. Most likely it will change when she starts breastfeeding. That's why you hear some young ladies out there say, I don't want to get pregnant because I don't want my breast to change in peckiness, in firmness, and all those kind of stuff. That's the reason why. So if you wanted children, know that by default, you invited that change. You are the same man most likely that would have said, I want children, I want children. Now she has given birth to these children, or she has given birth to this child. Her body has changed in the process. You have to...
Her tummy now has
different compartments. She has more fatty layers in her tummy. Even a shape that used to be very sexy, the waist has grown fat. Things have changed. She doesn't look like the person that you married. You have to understand that you invited that and you have to manage it. How can you manage it? First of all, you didn't marry the body alone. You married a soul, you married a spirit. That is why we always say men should not base their choice of who to get married to on just physical attraction. Because when that physical attraction expires, when children start coming,
Even for
there
people
must be
who
something
don't,
more.
even for people who don't like want children, for instance, the truth is gravity and old age changes the body.
Yeah.
And so
Even without
see,
children.
even without children,
Yeah.
like you see, I see patients. I've had a number of patients who are geriatric, like who are old. Some of them never had any children, but their bodies are still not the same. If you touch their skin, you can close your eyes and know that this is an old person. This is not the
Because
body
is
of
changing.
you understand?
Exactly.
So it's just normal for the body, and so understanding and knowing that you first of all married the soul of this person, the spirit of this person, and then the body is just an added advantage.
Exactly.
And you both are changing. I mean, men also change.
We're still going to talk about that too. So I mean, the changes that are happening to her, she needs you more than you can imagine. She needs you to reaffirm that you still find her attractive. She needs you to reaffirm that you married her for who she is and not what she looks like. She needs you to reaffirm that you understand the changes and you have come to accept it. So that acceptance might take a while for you because, I mean, you've always wanted it in a particular way, but you have to accept the fact that our body has to go through those changes. Now, when our body is going through those changes, attractiveness might be a bit questionable in your marriage. You might find it you might not find her attractive as before. So when that is happening, you need a lot of wisdom. Number one, what you should be attracted to mostly in your wife is not what she looks like physically, but her soul. How beautiful is her soul? Let me digress a little bit. There was one time I was in a situationship with someone, let me use that word, back in medical school. So my first girlfriend I told you guys about, when we got to a point, it was very clear that we're not going to marry each other. She now said, see, if you're not marrying me, at least I have one fine girl that you can actually talk to also. And I said, yeah, I'm not looking for a relationship. But she said, you meet this girl. She's very nice. She was based in Lawrence, studying medicine then too. So I got on the call with this girl, and she sounded so pleasant on phone, sounded so great on phone, and all that. But I had not seen a picture before. So we did MTM cool for like 1 month, 2 months, talking steady. I'll bring out the point I'm trying to bring out now. So we're talking steady. And then it got to a point like I was always looking forward to talking with this person. But guess what? The first time we had a video call, whatever attraction I had just went from like 100 to 0. The soul was so sweet to talk to, but the person, I just did not find that attractive enough to continue that conversation. Do you understand? So now, when you marry someone...
You were materialistic.
Whatever you call it. So I wasn't attractive to the physical person. She was a beautiful person, but I just was not attracted. That's all. I think there was something about her dentition that was just like, hey, I'm not doing, or something of that nature. Now, I'm just being real, all right? It's point blank with the ADEYEMI-LEVITES, so I'm being real. Now, where I'm going is, we had that connection at the soul level, right? But the physical part, I wasn't cool with it. I was not married to her. But if I were married to her, for instance, I would enjoy that soul conversations you normally have. And that can be a compensation for the physical part. So, for instance, in this context, you've married someone, the body is changing, but there must be something more that attracted you to her, more than just her body. Her soul must have been sweet to you. So, engage in more conversations, have more conversations. Her spirit must have been sweet to you. Engage in more prayers. And do you know the funniest thing about the physical part? It is actually even possible to still maintain that physical side of things. Maybe after she's done giving birth to all the children, there are plenty of things people do out there to enhance beauty, which you can do, all right? She can actually hit the gym. She can actually work on her body physically, like get to lose weight. The reality is losing weight also comes with a lot of
challenges.
A lot of challenges. Some weights refuse to be lost. So you have to prepare your mind for that even if she tries to lose weight and the weight is not losing, what is more that is attractive? There must be something more. That more, you have to focus on it. And then godliness with contentment is great gain. Men have gotten to this point at different points in time, and they are falling the prey of this to say, my wife is no longer physically attractive to me, and they start seeing other women that are attractive to them outside. That is where the problem is. The wisdom you need in that situation is that you need to understand that attractiveness is not just a physical thing. So there's a spiritual side to attractiveness. Somebody who you like talking to a lot, you'll be attracted to the person. Haven't you noticed that some women are so beautiful, but their men are sleeping with house helps that are smelling? They don't look so nice. But that house help is there's a part of that man that house help is taking care of very well, giving him respect. Respect is a thing of the mind. Giving him all the attention he needs when he needs the attention. That is why he's more attracted to her, not because of her physical beauty, right? So that's an example. In fact, the man will just say, after all, even if she doesn't know how to speak English, but she's good in bed, I can give her perfume. If she's smelling, she's going to look nice. Yeah, men have actually gone that far when their women stop being attractive to them. So what you need to do is to say, what can I do to enhance my wife's physical beauty? How can I make it better? Hit the gym together. If she needs to change diet, help in the changing diet process.
You guys can do it together.
When she's breastfeeding, she might not be able to change diet much because she needs to eat very well to breastfeed a child. You have to understand that. So there must be patience in this. There must be knowledge in this in order to know that, hey, while our body might not actually be giving me the vibes that I want, let me enjoy that soul connection. Speak with her more. In fact, that is the time you should actually ask her more questions about how she feels about herself. Because you will find out that beyond what you are thinking about her, she's thinking beyond that to like, hey, is this how unattractive I'm not going to become to my husband or my life or something of that nature?
I don't even know this thing you're talking about, because sincerely, like, I remember looking back, like, you know how you don't really understand how, now this might sound funny, but I'm being sincere, you don't really understand how ugly you are until you are out of it and you look back at pictures. You know, I remember when I was pregnant with Petra, it was really, really bad. Like, looking at those pictures, like, I didn't recognize myself. But the truth is, you never made me feel like you were understanding and that you were loving me from my heart. You made me feel like I had to convince myself to not believe that I was beautiful. Like, because seeing the mirror, and then thank God we didn't even have money, we didn't have mirror at home that time. So it's when you maybe look at your phone, like seeing the mirror, what I'm seeing is different from what I'm hearing every day.
So that's another part that I wanted to mention.
So you didn't, you know, now you're making it seem like, okay, yes, you acknowledge that the woman is not changing, as right? good.
I was going to talk about that.
Because you did, to be sincere, you hype me the most. Like, you tell me how much you love how my body is growing, how much my body is doing for our baby, how much my body is this, that is even better, it's even sweeter, it's even nicer, it's even...
So wait. So look at it from this perspective. You're very correct. The hyping is not lie. It's a fact. You look more beautiful.
You're lying, I know. You weren't lying. No, it's true. When you try, like when I ask you a question, and you say, like if I say, "Is this clothes fine?" and you're like,
"No, I will."
The other one, Nuko, you're like, "No." Sometimes you're like, "It's not."
So now I'm saying this for men who actually legit feel that their wife is not as attractive to them before.
Okay. Because you said things like,
the truth is,
it's getting fuller, is even...
See, the way the breast got after we got married, I'm eternally grateful to God for it. Because I have more things to hold than I used to hold when we first of all got married. Do you understand?
So was it a perspective shift?
So that's what I was trying to arrive at, that for a man who sees his woman as unattractive, you first of all have to understand that it's coming from somewhere. There is a stereotype that a woman's body should look in a particular way.
Okay.
So if he's not looking like that again, he probably doesn't feel attracted. It doesn't mean that your body didn't change. Your body changed.
Of course.
But as your body is changing, my perspective is also changing to say, hey, we've talked about it before we got married. I mentioned to you that, hey, I know your body is going to change. When you give birth to children, how you look now is not how you're going to look. But I am not after your body alone. I am after your soul.
No, but you were after my body, even in that changed state.
Your body changing, thank God it happened like that for me.
Okay.
That, I am appreciating the body more. The curves were becoming more voluptuous. I was enjoying it actually. The changes that happened. Like, you are more voluptuous than when we got married, right? And I love it that way. I really, really love it.
Okay.
Some men will tell you that that's not what they want.
Okay.
Some men will want to go back to how you used to be when we met. Those are the kind of men I'm actually addressing here. To say, there are some men that will say, changes have happened. I don't like this change.
Okay.
What do I do about it? Do you understand?
So such men tell the women, I don't like this change.
Yes. Okay. Some women actually get bashed emotionally by their men.
No. I'm saying
verbally rather.
Should men that have that, I feel that way, should they tell the women?
So now that's another thing that we now need to talk about. When you're married to someone, I am believing that you married the person body, soul, and spirit, naked and not ashamed.
Yes.
There are certain truths we've told each other about life, not about physical looks, but about life generally. Even about my physical look, you've said something about it before to me. We can't say it in public, right? But you've told me, this particular thing, I don't like it, right? Clear. And you didn't make me feel terrible when you were telling me that, right?
Yes.
I didn't feel less than a man. I didn't feel less.
You didn't feel like I was less attractive
or
to you.
Or you are less attractive to me because of that, right? Let me even say, it's my teeth. Right?
No, I would say what I said.
It's my teeth.
With my
you don't like my dentition.
I would say, no. I say marriage is night market.
Exactly.
I did not know. I was in love. I didn't see the teeth.
You have never made me feel less
When it's a joke,
handsome.
it's not, yes.
But the truth is, even in the joke, I know that we've talked about it, you really want me to change it now.
No,
if
I'm
you
saying
have
like
your power, if you have the way to change
okay,
it. Yeah.
I need braces because pregnancy changed my own dentition. My teeth does not meet anymore. So I'm like, let's do the braces together. Yeah, like braces for what?
I mean, I'm handsome as I am. What I'm trying to say is, you told me, but I never felt put down.
Yes.
I never felt like you are ridiculing me.
Yes.
Or making me feel less attractive to you.
Yes,
You're just saying it as it is.
Yes.
You can tell a woman you love that your body is changing in a way I don't like.
Yes.
And the person
especially even because of her health.
Yeah. And the person doesn't feel like
put down
you're
or
putting
unattractive.
her down or unattractive.
Okay,
It is the man is just being sincere to say, hey, if I have my will, there's a better way. And then guess what? That is where healing even starts from.
Yes.
To say, hey, I know how you feel about your body. Even me, I feel that way. Like, I don't like how it's looking right now because of the changes that have happened, right?
Yeah.
So there are men like me who would say, the changes, I did all right. Let's go. Let's ride it to whatever we can ride it up to, right? Yeah. But some men will say, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Now, that is where some men are now vulnerable enough to start looking out and start cheating. Yeah. And start seeing figure 8 outside.
So which I think still is talking foolish. About communication.
Yeah, communication. So you should be able to tell her this is how you want her body to look. But you should be understanding enough to know also that you contributed to it. So you should be patient enough for that recovery to come.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's some things she might not be able to change again. Some men will say, hey, let's have liposuction.
Abio.
Let's go and do your breast to be pecky again.
BBL. Okay, mommy makeover.
Whatever they call it. But I mean, men actually say, let's go and change how the breast looks. Let's take it back to original factory setting.
Yes.
That kind of stuff. The tummy, same thing. Tummy talk, liposuction, all those kind of stuff. Even down to BBL. Some people do BBL for their wives.
But BBL is not, you're not taking her back to her former position.
Yeah, you're giving her shape.
You are giving her a new position.
Whatever it is, it's called beauty enhancing surgery. Sure. Right? So I don't think there's anything wrong if a man feels that is what is going to restore his marriage and say, I don't want...
If they both feel.
If they both feel. Now, that's the word. If they both feel. Because if both of them, that's where
friendship comes in.
So there's a way you can actually be very factual with who you're married to say, I don't like how this part of your body looks. Is there a way you can work on it? And if the person actually really, really loves you and agrees to do it, why not? Do you understand? I think the problem is people not even marrying those they can talk to. We are vulnerable with to be able to express how you feel about anything and not feel judged, not feel looked at. You understand? So that's what we're trying to communicate here, to say men who are in that state, first of all, have to understand that I contributed to this. It is foolish of me to be thinking of expecting her to just change overnight back to how I met her. I should be in this journey with her of recovery. I should be in this journey of how she's going to get her body back. Guess what? Women are more sensitive about their bodies than we imagine.
Than men.
Women notice, we've talked about intelligence. You pay attention to all the details, the curves, everything can look smooth. I've seen people that men are telling, you are very beautiful, and they don't see it that way. They feel like their nose is too big, or their ears are too curved, or something. And then you tell they are beautiful, they will say, no, I don't think so. So it's a mindset.
I remember when I was digressive. When I was small and was it when I was small? No, when I was pregnant with Petra, my brother told me that I don't need my ears for my glasses. That my nose is big enough to hold the glasses without ear.
Imagine that kind of stuff. a woman can hear that and start going to sob and entering depression.
No, but we had that kind of it was something I laughed about.
Exactly. Because why is that happening? Because already he has deposited so much in your bank account, emotional bank accounts, that you know that this person is not taking it from the perspective of being derogatory.
Yes, it wasn't abuse. It was banter. In fact, I think it made me laugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think men need to get to that point where you are accepting, you have deposited so much in her. So she talked about the fact that I hyped her, I made her look more beautiful than she was before we were married. And the truth is, that's how I feel about her. I feel my wife is more attractive to me now than when I met her 8 years ago. That's a fact. Sorry, 2013, right?
12 years ago.
That's 12 years ago. Like that, I feel more attracted to you than them. And you know why? Should I say some of them?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, you know what I'm talking about. Like, for instance, you used to have low haircuts that is looking very, very interesting. That was more attractive to me.
I was more,
she was boyish.
Tomboy.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like that, but I still married you. Now you're now girlish. You are now very, you're now womanish.
Makeups. And earring.
Oh, God. Give him, man. To marry and dancing, to marry, my toast neat straight up like
yeah, now I wear makeups.
Do you understand? So I think it's that time I never saw makeup on you.
I never did makeup.
Till we married yourself, did you use makeup? Maybe even for special occasions, you don't use makeup.
The first time I ever used makeup in my life was prom.
And that was the only time.
And that was the only time I ever used makeup till my wedding.
So imagine that kind of person, and I'm now seeing somebody that makeup is now enhancing your body. You look more beautiful to me than when I met you. Do you understand? But now we're talking about people who don't feel that way. Yes, but I also think it's a knowledge problem.
Yes.
If you feel that a woman is not looking in a particular way to you because marriage has changed her rather, and you love her, have the conversation. Yeah. Sit down, talk about it.
And also understand that it's actually anatomy. Like the body is...
It's just fat boxes in different shapes and sizes. That's just what it is. Yeah. So now let's move forward. So now let's even talk about it from the perspective of the woman now. Yeah. In a sense, there are so many things to say to men, but I think we've captured it in a sense, like to say, hey, you have to be patient. You have to be kind. You have to be futuristic about it. Think about the soul and the spirit first. Our body is going to change either you like it or not. Even if you do BBA or back, it still change.
Use wisdom in your communication. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Put yourself in her shoes and be empathetic. You understand? There are many things that if you put yourself in someone's shoes, it would be easy to, see. Yeah. And then like I was saying in the last video, talking about like, okay, now from a woman's perspective, you can't just let yourself go. Yeah. Like there's some things that will happen to you not because you let yourself go, because they must happen to you. But there's some things that can continue to happen to you because you choose to let yourself go. So don't let yourself go as a woman. Not because you're trying to keep your man attracted to you, but also because you want to, number one, make the body that God gave you, that's God's temple, you want to put it in the best shape as possible. Number two, you want to be healthy enough to be there for those children, for your husband and your children. Yeah. For those children that you had, because it's very easy to let yourself go. Like, I mean, especially if you, like, for instance, let me use myself as an example. Before I got married, I had packs. I wasn't the slimmest. It's true. I wasn't the slimmest, but I had packs. She was tomboy. I actually had packs. And so, you can get to a point where you look at your tummy and you're like, is there any point? Let me just even let go. You understand? Yeah. So instead of choosing to let go, choose to still, I might not have this. Even like, I remember, maybe that's why my pregnancy my stomach didn't come, because my abdominal wall muscles were very, very toned. So you could still see the compartments there, but everything has changed. But still, not letting yourself go. You see that when you, for instance, I breastfeed for 2 years. That's TMI, but I breastfeed for 2 years. So 2 years after I give birth, I'm still fresh postpartum, because technically, you understand, because I'm still eating a lot to make sure that I'm producing enough. And so if I'm going to start any exercises, that is 2 years after. And on the average, Nigerians is after 2 years. You get pregnant again. I don't believe in such, but that's story for another day. Yeah, but like, especially because I'm doing 2 years postpartum, how can I come out of postpartum and enter again? You understand? That's the mindset. Yeah. So I'm saying that having the mindset to also put your best foot forward. You know how before marriage, you probably won't go on a date with your fiancé, or you won't go and see him without putting your best foot forward, like without looking your best. When you get married and when you even go through all those things, don't stop trying to put your best foot forward. Don't let it be only outside people that see you bath. Don't let it be only when you're going out that you bath and smell nice and do your hair and dress nice. Now, these are things you can change. You see that I'm not talking about
what you can't change.
Like, you understand? So don't let outside people see the best of you. Let your husband also see you in your good days. You know, if you are home or if you're working from home, it's easy when you go out to work. But if you're working from home, you can still make the effort to, you know, clean up nicely, do some things, like I said in the last video. So those are things I also wanted to add.
And then back to men again. I think a woman who knows her husband loves her will do two things. First one, she will have so much peace around him, even when he is unearthing a lot of feelings he has about her body, because she knows that he loves her. He has been sacrificial. He has done a lot of things for her, enough to know that this man loves me for real.
Yes.
So when it's like depositing, just like we said, depositing in your emotional bank account so much that you know that even if this man feels,
if he makes a withdrawal,
it's not going to be
the
negative.
Account is not in deficit.
Yes. So before a man can start telling a woman something
before
about her
withdrawing,
body and saying that things I think you should change, make sure that you have deposited so much love in her, you've cared for her.
She's not questioning your love.
I don't think, you know, when you were saying something about how I make you feel about your body and all that, I think other aspects of life, God has actually helped me to demonstrate to you how much I love you, so much that you know that this guy is my guy. So it's not a matter of maybe one thing I say that is negative that will now erode all the big things that have been done in the past. You're my ride or die, right? There are many things we've been through.
Ride or live in Jesus' name.
Ride or live in Jesus' name. Today. like regardless of whatever has happened in our marriage, there are things that have happened in our marriage that some people wouldn't have survived.
Yes.
Needs. From the time when you lost your mom to, I think that was a major aspect that really shook our marriage, right?
And maybe postpartum,
and then
first time postpartum.
Yeah, first, even second time postpartum too. Things happened, right? We can't say everything in public, but those things shook our marriage, but they only made us stronger because we have gone through the process. Yeah. So there is nothing that can happen that can shake us because we've gone through worse situations, right? Maybe we'll talk about it in another topic about what marriage has actually taught me about life, about faith, all this kind of stuff. Maybe we'll talk about it there. Yeah. But what I'm saying that is,
now we laugh at some things that shook us in the beginning.
Those things shook us really bad. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about our faith and how marriage has affected our faith and all that.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, if you have gone through that ride or die process with your spouse, and she knows that you got her back 100%, when it's time for you to tell her things like, I feel like you need to adjust some things in your body, she will be glad enough to do because she has peace in you.
But you realize that even in marriage, these are conversations you have that have nothing to do with even your body.
Exactly.
In every aspect of life. If you guys are truly in union and in unison, there will be things that will be hard things to talk about.
But you have to say it
because you can't afford to not be the person that tells your spouse the truth.
Yeah.
If everybody else outside is lying to your spouse,
you have to be able to say the
truth.
But
doesn't mean you just be saying only negative things or bad things. So it's the same principle you apply.
Exactly.
For instance, you're telling your wife that I think maybe on this thing, you need to. You understand? These are things that should happen in marriage. You should be able to tell each other. Because she has seen you
demonstrate how you would even give your life for her.
Exactly.
In many instances. So that won't be a problem to her.
Yes.
But a man who has not deposited, who doesn't really say nice words about her naturally, who verbally abuses her, if he comes up with, your body is changing, she will just take it to be another, he's back to bashing me again. Or he's just going another dimension in bashing me because he normally bashes me. Men who derogatorily, there's any word like that, talk about their women Who talk about the women in a very derogatory manner in public? We've seen such men around before. Like they talk, in fact, in front of everybody, in front of their children, their spouse, their siblings, cousins, aunties, uncles. They say all sort of stuff about their wives.
And then they say, we just
that kind of man cannot have that kind of conversation. The woman will not even listen because she feels like already you put me down. There's no point. So the man has a lot of work to do,
like that, yeah.
And then bringing it to scriptures. A man who wants to be like Christ to his spouse is someone who is ready to sacrifice a lot. If Jesus says, bring all your money now, he has given you a lot more, right? Because you have seen him give you a lot more. If he says, drop all the money in your account, it might be hard for you to do if you have not realized how much he has done for you. But if you realize how much,
or if you know your relationship with Jesus, to me, if Jesus now tells me everything I have, I should drop it. I don't win jackpot with that.
Exactly, because it means that end point. You know
it means that means much more is like, because I know that I will survive, I must survive. Jesus will not make me die. You understand? So if Jesus says empty your pocket, that means I know that fresh one is good. So you're right. The relationship
matters, what you built in the past. Then again, apart from that, men also need to understand that in marriage, you should come in to give more than you're coming to get.
Yeah.
If you come in with that mindset and there are changes happening in your wife's body, you should be thinking more about how can she come out of this. Not for yourself alone, but for herself
her first. Because
my wife talked about it just now. You talked about her health.
Yeah.
Being alive to see her children. That should be enough reason why you should take her health seriously and say, okay, yeah, come back to shape. Not because you just want figure 8 for
your selfish reasons.
Do you understand? So when a man actually is seeing all those changes, is the last thing you should be thinking about is you want to go and cheat or start having an affair. Which is what some men do.
Or abandon her.
And give her silent treatment. There are women who suffer silently more from their spouses than any other person out there because of this thing we're talking about.
So it's not just not abusing her verbally or emotionally. Also being silent.
Yeah. Giving her silent treatment, cold shoulder, she's complaining about something, you're not talking about it, you're not reacting. Making her feel alone or she's not worth the attention.
Yeah, she's not attractive. And that also lets her understand that all she has to offer you is her body.
Yeah. And it's a real problem. So while we're doing this podcast again is to say, for young men who are not married, you must have this at the back of your mind. That when you're getting married to someone, things will change physically and you need to be prepared for it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Also, you need to understand that you are there to give more. You are there to help her, not to collect from her. When you have helped her, she will definitely give back in multiple folds, all right? So we have to end this podcast. If you have more questions, I think that would be great to answer.
All right.
But it was a great time. Some things were on earth today.
Nice one. Nice doing business. Stop it. Nice doing business with you. Like, share, subscribe.
So like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our social media pages at Nifemi_Adeyemi on Instagram, at ADEYEMI-LEVITES on Instagram, at ADEYEMI-LEVITES1 on TikTok. Our YouTube page, the ADEYEMI-LEVITES Company. Subscribe, share, like, comment. God bless you. Thank you very much. See you guys later.
You've been rapturable.